I would say happiness is really just an appreciation of being alive.
Your happiness isn't dependent on someone else. Everyone's in charge of their own happiness.
So with this practice, you train yourself to be more consciously aware. That means you know what you're doing while you're doing it.
Welcome back to the Surf Mastery Podcast. Big thanks to those who attended the surfing workshop in Santa Monica with Clayton near Naba. Great turnout and it was very well received. I will be organising another one in the LA area soon, so keep an ear on the podcast and an eye on the Instagram for that. I have already organised another surfing workshop in San Diego this coming Sunday, November the 3rd, and that's with myself and Taylor Knox. Taylor will be presenting on the basic principles of Kelee meditation and how they relate to performance. And I will be presenting on surfing posture and technique that will be relevant for all styles of surfing. There's a link to the details and tickets in the show notes in your app and also on Instagram. You can always email me, mike@surfmastery.com as well. Recently got back from a surf trip down in Nicaragua at Malibu Popoyo Resort with Taylor Knox and Matt Griggs, and what an incredible experience that was. One of the guests, Dave, was inspired to create a little video to try and portray some of the magic that went down that week, and the audio in today's episode is all from Dave Palmer from Palmer Productions. There is a link to his work in the show notes as well. Also a link to the video he made around this trip as well. So Dave interviewed Taylor and Matt about the trips they do, the coaching they do, and the Kelee meditation practice. So there's a lot of wisdom in today's show. He also interviewed me about my experience during this week, and that's how this episode begins, with me sort of just outlining my experience, and then we'll go into some audio from Taylor Knox and Matt Griggs.
We come here to improve your surfing. Taylor and Matt both rip, so you've got inspiration and visual technique, and then Matt is so good with the technique side of it and coaching. So what you're learning about surfing technique and how to read the waves, that's a huge part of what we're doing here, but on a deeper level and a more exciting and profound level is just learning about self-awareness and learning about yourself and self-development, and that's been the biggest. I've got more out of that side of it than I have out of the surfing. I've had a lot of surf coaches in my time. I'm a surf coach, so I'm always wanting to learn more about surf coaching and improve my surfing and technique and stuff. And I've learned more this week about that than anywhere else. But on a grander scale, I've learned more about myself and who I am and how I feel about life and others, and it's been profound. It's almost indescribable what this week has given me as a person, not just as a surfer. Also, it's like Matt and Taylor just attract a different type of surfer. I've always thought, sometimes surfing brings out the worst in people, but not this group. Surfing has brought out the best in people with this group. This particular group of surfers, they're just very open-minded, and they're not afraid to talk about themselves and their feelings and to share their stories and what they've been through, how they've overcome certain challenges in their lives. It's helped me to look at my challenges in a different way, and it's just inspiring, I guess. It's comforting too. And it's nice to be able to talk to other people about my situation. So I've been meditating for a couple of years now, on and off, pretty consistently over the past few months, sort of leading up to this as well. But I quickly learned that I wasn't really meditating. I was actually focusing on something, on a second point, whether that be breathing or a mantra. And that's not really meditation. Meditation is about finding a single point of stillness within. So that was profound. And just the way that Matt and Taylor explain what meditation is something I've I've never had it framed that way before. And it's I don't know, it's just been life-changing. Like, yeah, it really has. It never really clicked until, after a couple of days of everyone just sort of questioning Matt and Taylor and Taylor and Matt explaining it. I can't explain it. It's just, words can't describe it. It's something you do have to experience for yourself. Yeah, you have to get on one of these trips, and yeah, I'm lost for words on that one, actually. Yeah, it's a feeling, isn't it? Yeah, it's a feeling. It's you got to feel it and experience it yourself. So I think if someone feels attracted and inspired to come on one of these trips, just go with that. Don't second guess it. Don't question it. Just go with your feeling. It's the best investment you'll ever make, I think, not just for your surfing, but for your life.
We just wanted to create an experience where we get to go to a good place in the world, where there's plenty of nature and we can experience one of our favourite things to do, which is surfing, but make it more than a surf trip, like not just about riding waves, but learning about yourself, learning about your mind via Kelee meditation, learning more about the body and physical health and performance as well, whether it's not just on the surfboard, but just in life and whatever people's craft is. So that was the idea, and yeah, it's been very well received. People it's great that they're learning about surfing, but I think it's even better that they're learning more about themselves and becoming more harmonious people in the world. We call it the Nature of Success Tours, nature meaning your intrinsic value, success from the Latin to go on well. Yeah, you could call it a surf retreat in a way, but every single person always says it's so much more than a surf trip. I think at our age, and most of us here have done a lot of surf trips, and we're looking for probably more than that. So we try to give them more than that, and what we do is every day we spend an hour or two doing some personal development sessions, and that's a combination of Kelee meditation and understanding the mind, learning meditation and learning how to troubleshoot the mind of inefficiencies, dysfunction, stress, and becoming wiser, becoming more aware. And then we learn about physical health and we learn about performance, and I think one of the main ingredients here too, like any holiday, if people choose to use it, is you have the greatest luxury in the world, which is time. Just time to ponder on your life and time to ask some important questions and reset in a way. So when you go home, not only do you feel better, you're more self-aware with who you are as a person and also how you want to live.
We have people from all different skill levels come here. It's nice to teach people that they want to get better so bad. They're looking to improve, like a cutback or a bottom turn, and it's for us, and being surfing as long as I have, and that's something I really enjoy to kind of give out freely, is just teaching them, like, hey, this will really help you, these small tips, and they just never got that kind of instruction. So it feels good to see people improve so much in just like 6-7 days. It's amazing. I would describe it as more than a surf trip. Obviously, we are surfing a lot, and we're talking about surf technique, but we are also talking about learning about your Kelee and getting people to kind of look within for their own answers. And in essence, it's just more about learning about yourself. The answers, I believe, are all within you. You just have to unlock them.
Yeah, consciousness, the term in Kelee is your conscious awareness. And conscious awareness is just a term to describe how aware somebody is. Wherever you direct your attention is where your conscious awareness will be. So with this practice, you train yourself to be more consciously aware. That means you know what you're doing while you're doing it. It's a good thing for humanity. I would say happiness is really just an appreciation of being alive. We have a life, and are we really living it, and are we appreciating it, smiling more and enjoying our life and learning, but enjoying it at the same time. There's many emotions that become dysfunctional ways of being, anger, stress, impatience, ego, depression, etc. But it's all rooted in fear. So if you're ever triggered in life, and we all get triggered from time to time, a really good question you could ask yourself is, what is it I fear here? For example, if it's depression, it's a fear of not being enough or not being good enough, or if it's anxiety, it's a fear of not having control. So it's an easy way, or a much easier way, to get to the root problem, and this becomes part of the pathway for all of humanity, is to evolve out of being a fearful creature into a more loving one, more harmonious one, to not live by your fears. I mean, imagine how much fears held you back in life. This is not about that. This is about living from your awareness of what it is that you really want to do in life, the personal experience you want to have, and not letting fear get in the way. Yeah, the control thing, because people fear they don't have it, but you don't. The only thing you have is self-control. You know, you can't control what comes at you, only how you deal with it. So too often, just a common mistake is placing your attention on things you can't control, and of course that leads to frustration or leads to anxiety, etc. If you're a controlling person, I would ask, how is that going for you? Usually it leads to a lot of angst, a lot of anxiety and a lot of frustration. So ultimately it's something you have to give up. The only thing you can control is what's in your hands right now, and that's it. So yeah, my mentor says he tries not to let his attention go further away than what he can actually touch. That is the only thing you can have an effect on. If you let your thoughts go towards things you can't have an effect on, you become ineffective. So with this practice, you become so much more effective. So much more effective. You become so consciously aware that by knowing what you're doing while you're doing it, you don't waste time, you don't waste energy. You can get to the point very quickly. You don't waste time on thoughts you don't need to have. Very efficient way to not only understand your mind, but to troubleshoot it of any disharmony and just make your life better and evolve.
The answers, I believe, are all within you. You just have to unlock them. We're not here to tough it up or suck it up. I think being tough and being strong are two different things. Being strong is being sensitive and being aware of your surroundings and aware of others. And having foresight is a lot better than having hindsight. I mean, hindsight's good, but it probably means you've already suffered and you're looking back on an experience that didn't work out. Foresight is not even getting into that situation in the first place. And so I think for a lot of these guys, they're looking like, wow, there's some stuff here to be learned about avoiding sticky situations or adversarial situations. And just more about learning about yourself and knowing that your happiness isn't dependent on someone else. Everyone's in charge of their own happiness. Period. Full stop.
The Kelee has been around forever, but in terms of our understanding, a few thousand years, and its original meaning is in Sanskrit, and it means vessel or receptacle. Everyone has one, and throughout life we can tend to accumulate, stresses and emotional buttons and issues and trauma and even brain chatter in the shallow end of the pool. So Kelee meditation is just a way to empty the vessel of unwanted material, and via one-pointed stillness we learn detachment, so the mind becomes stronger, the mind becomes more aware and less stressed and less affected by whatever's happened in one's life. It's very practical because it's only a 5-minute practice, but you are taught stillness because that's what meditation is about. It's an inactive being process where the mind is still. And then you're taught to contemplate. So a lot of the benefits initially include less brain chatter. They include more self-awareness, a relaxing of the nervous system, so you're calmer. And generally when we're calmer, we do better. The byproduct really is more awareness and less stress. Things that used to affect you won't affect you anymore, and you'll become more wise and more harmonious.
I was always curious about how, I could get out of the water frustrated about a surf, and the guy next to me got out of the water on cloud 9. I figured, well, then there's something going on with me, because that's probably how I should feel too. So, I just started looking deeper into myself, and I just thought, well, there's nothing more important in the world than understanding your own thoughts. Oh, this meditation practice is me. It's really practical. I don't have to sit in lotus position for 4 hours a day. I don't have to shave my head or wear a red robe or become a vegan. Nothing wrong with any of those things, but it just didn't resonate with, those things don't resonate with me, and it's not my culture. I grew up in Southern California. I mean, whether I like it or not, that's where I grew up. And I needed something that didn't take an excessive amount of time and that I could still get things done, do things during the day. And so when he taught me the practice, and it was doing it 10 minutes twice a day, I was like, oh, I can do this. And I started doing it. It was a struggle in the beginning for me to get out of my head and into my mind, which is, i.e. heart, I guess you would say, down in this. Because you don't make regrets when you make decisions from your heart. I've made plenty of regrets when I made decisions from my head.
We get closed because maybe we sense that it's a lack of strength if we are vulnerable or if we talk about emotion, but it's amazing to, you know, have that full range in this experience where we go surfing and we learn about re-entries and cutbacks, and then we come in here and we meditate and we talk about life and we talk about, dare I say it, emotion and our fears and our awarenesses and our realizations, and it's awesome to watch all these bright developed minds then kind of hang out with each other. There's all these sideline conversations because there's some elite people in this group, very bright minds, and when they get together, no matter what problem someone's going through, there's probably someone in the group that's been through it. So it's been awesome for Taylor and I to watch the growth of people. In 1 week, it's amazing how much they grow and their support of each other, and it's just a great experience, you know. I'm so happy to be a part of it.